welcome. If you are new to this channel, please give a like and subscribe, comment below with any topics you'd like me to cover, and if you find this content helpful, hit the notification bell and you will be notified of the next video release. So today I am covering Email.js. If you're not familiar, Email.js is a client-side only emailing service, so save yourself some money. Do not pay for root access on a cPanel account. Use Email.js's, they have a free account you can get with them and send like 200 emails a month. So pretty cool stuff. No Node.js required, no node mailer required, no backend whatsoever. Send an email right from your React application. Without further ado, let's jump right into it. I'm going to be doing a hands-on, so if you'd like to follow along, feel free to do so. I am going to be moving at a brisk pace, I will say, as I don't want this video to be too long. I'm going to be using Vite to set this up and to set up my initial React project. And if you're not familiar with what Vite is, watch the video that's popping up in the top right corner of your screen, and I go into the specifics of what Vite is. It's a game changer for front-end development. So I just have a project folder here, and I'm going to do an npm create Vite at latest, and let that do its thing for a second, and give it a project name and a package name, and we get to choose our framework with Vite, which is awesome. And I'm also going to choose a JavaScript over TypeScript. TypeScript functionality is built in. I will point that out. Well, now we go into our project folder and just do an npm install to get everything installed, all of the modules installed there. So that was fast. Now let's go ahead and just fire up the development server. Again, I'll point out how absolutely lightning fast that happens. So now that we have our skeleton structure, React structure installed and all the modules installed, we have our development server up and running at localhost 5173. Let's open this up in our IDE and get right to the nitty-gritty. So I'm using VS Code. Feel free to use whatever you'd like. Notice how slim the hierarchy, the folder structure is for a Vite application. Pretty cool stuff there as well. I'm going to come in here and just delete everything. Just out the window. There it goes. Might as well throw another div in here. And let's just create a form. Okay, now we have a form. We need to give it an on submit. And what we're going to be doing is taking an anonymous function and running, let's do a event prevent default, and then we'll do a handle submit that we're going to write here in a minute and pass it to the event as well. Now let's create our actual form. Let's do some labels, and we'll just let's just do a few fields: first name, last name, email, and message. Keep this easy. And then first name, and we need our input. All right, type equals text, and it's going to be required. We always want to be having the browser do as much work for us as possible, so let's add that required on there, and then let's give a name of fname. I like having the camel case. I'm going to put the N capital. An ID of the same. So I'll just copy and paste that. And let's just copy this 2 more times. Now we need a last name. So let's make these few little changes. Last name. And that's also going to be required. And then we'll update these name and ID fields, and then this one is going to be for the email address, and we'll obviously label it as such, email, and email, make sure they're all matching, and then let's make one more, and we'll start with another label. We'll call this message, and the label will be message, and this time we're going to make a text area, and that's we need to do a couple of different ones with this. We need a rows, let's do 5 rows, and columns, let's do 50 columns, and we still want to make it required, so let's add that, and then we need an ID of message and a name of message, right? Okay, and then we can't forget our submit button, so let's put a button with a type of submit. There, I think we pretty much got it. So let's save this. Yeah, well, we'll get rid of it. We don't need that import. I don't like extra imports. And let's pull open localhost 5173. And there's our fields. Let's put a couple of breaks in here just to make that more visually appealing. So put a break in between each chunk. Yeah, that looks at least a little bit better. I'm not going to get into the styling. This is not a CSS video. Okay, so we have our form, right? We can get rid of this state as well. We're not using that. But what do we need next? Well, we need email.js. So you can go to email.js and you'll see right away free account. Free account gives you something like 200 emails and one template to use. And that's 200 a month. And so once you have your account, then you get this dashboard, okay? And the 3 pieces of information that we need in order to send an email is we need a service, a template, and your key. And then whatever values we're passing. So I guess four things total, but 3 things from here. So once you have your account, you need to hook up a service. I'm using Gmail. You can use whatever you'd like. Just make sure when you hook it up to hit the allow to send on your behalf button, and then create a template. And inside of here, there's all kinds of stuff you can do, but what we want to pay attention to here is these double brackets. What is inside of here are properties of an object that we're going to send, and it's going. Email.js is so cool. It's going to pull those out easy peasy for us. We don't even have to extract them. We can just pass the whole form right from our application to email.js, and it will do it all for us. So just be aware of the naming convention that you're using here, and your form object has to match. I say form object. What I mean is the object that we send email.js. You can change it. So let's go back to our application and let's pause our dev server. And we need to install email.js. So install @email.js browser. We're doing this right from the browser, which is awesome. And let's go ahead and fire that development server right back up. And gosh, look how fast it is. Oh, I love Vite. So now that we have email.js installed, and we can get rid of that unused import as well. I hate unused imports. It drives me nuts. So let's import our email.js from email.js browser. And we'll just pause here and save that, make sure that there's new dependencies optimized. You can see how fast that was. Gosh, that's so fast. And no problems here. We're still up and running, so everything happened without a hitch. Okay, now we need to write our handle submit function. And what does that look like? Well, let's. I am a fan of using anonymous functions. You can certainly do this however you'd like, but I'm going to make a constant that is a reference to an anonymous function, and it is going to take one parameter, which is the event, which we are passing it inside of our onSubmit right there. And once we have that event, that's when we start to do our magic. And here, when I was saying that the way that you word those double bracket values in your template here, this is where it needs to match. So what I have here, and I went ahead and created this in advance. This is not what a default template looks like. These need to match what I'm creating here. So what I'm going to create is an object. I'm just going to call it form. Make it easy, right? And I'm not going to do any error checking, but you'll notice now I am naming these exactly as they exist in that template, and that is the way it needs to be. And I'll just pull the values out from the event target, and then the name is first we're going to do fname, and dot value, and then last name e.target dot lname dot value. And guys, I can't even begin to describe how handy this service is, because it is just so easy to use. It's really remarkable. Kudos to the email.js team as I'm typing this. You guys rock. They did hook me up with an account in order to do this so that I would not run out of emails. Thank you guys so much for that. Apart from that, no compensation. So we have our first name, last name, email, message, and message value. Let's go ahead and just do a good old-fashioned console.log form values, just to make sure that, again, we have everything coming through correctly. And we'll pop over here and double check. Open up our console, and let's do Bob Johnson jbob@gmail.com, and hello, and let's hit submit and see what happens. Alright, we're getting our object there, and that's an annoying thing with Chrome. If you have any text, it just gives you the object, whereas if you have just the object and now I run this, you'll see that I don't know why Chrome does it, it's so annoying. But if you have any text in your console.log and the object, it's only going to give you the object. Although now that I think about it, I wonder if let me try something while I got you guys on the line. JSON. JSON.stringify. I bet you I could do this. This is probably why it's doing that. But you shouldn't have to. If you don't have to do it, like, be consistent, right? If you don't have to do it, yeah. So it's there as a string if you do it this way. But again, that's dumb, because when you have complex objects, you want to be able to open them up as objects. And if I don't need to do the stringify when I have the object in there like this, don't make me do it, just because I'm adding string text as well. Anyway, so we have our object coming through correctly. Here it is, the first name, last name, and the email, and the message. So Perfect. So now what do we need to do? Well, this is where email.js is so stinking easy. You just type in email.js.send, and then what's inside of here is the 4 things that I was referring to earlier, and 3 of them come from email.js, and the 4th one is the form. So we just put in here our service, so we can come over here to email service, and this ID right here. That's what we need. So copy that and paste that in string form right here. Add a comma for the next parameter, and now they need to know what template we're using. So let's go back, grab our template, and again the same thing. We're just grabbing the string and coming back here and pasting it as the second parameter inside quotes. Single or double is fine. The 3rd parameter is the object we're sending, and that is the form that we just put together. And then the last thing is your public key. Don't use your private key, and I don't care. You guys can go ahead and see mine because email.js is awesome and they let you refresh them at will. So you grab your public key, and this will not be my public key by the time you see this, so it won't matter. And we put that in there and paste. Wow, that's it, man. So there it is. We could just run this as is, but this is promise based, so let's do I want to make sure that you guys are on the right path. So let's go ahead and work our promises down. And so here we take a .then and response, and then return the response, right? And then the next .then, once we have our response, then we want to grab our data. Now, if you are familiar with APIs, server responses, anything below a 299 is good. So here's where you could do, like, you know, console.log your data from response, and then I guess you do your JSON.stringify. That's so silly. And then put your data in there. Oh, forgot my comma there. Okay, and so that you could see your data if you wanted to. Now here is where you would do your test. If data.status is less than 299, then we know everything that we do in here is good to go, right? The response was a success from the server. So in this case, that would be from email.js's servers. So in my application that I wrote, I had this be where I would set success and give the user a success message using timeouts, so that a success message would pop up for a period of time and then disappear. So once you have done everything you're going to do on success, you probably want to clear out your form. So in here you could do e.target. Well, just copy all of these, really. Let's just copy all that right here. And then just get rid of everything before those. And then clean them up. And we want to just zero those out. So after someone submits a form, let's just clear out the values, just so that it's kind of another cue that, hey, something happened. Single quotes, and done. First name, last name, email, and message, all cleared out. Okay, and then we would, the last thing we would need to do would be catch any errors, and this would be error, and then send the error down the line and do something with it. And for our case here, we could just do a console.log error, and then let's add in a new line, and then the error. All right. So let's give this a save and come over here and hit send. And you can see that my phone is buzzing. The email went through. The server responded with status 200, which is okay. The form cleared out, and we successfully sent, using nothing but client-side code, an email. Yeah, so that was pretty cool. I think Email.js is awesome. I hope that you guys find it as helpful as I did. I've used this in several projects now because the very minor cost, I think the professional account is like $12 a month, and root access to a server is like, I don't remember last time I looked, way more than $12 a month. I mean, come on. So this is super helpful. I hope you've found this super helpful. If you did, please give me a thumbs up and recommend my channel. Hit the notification bell, subscribe, and I will be coming out with more useful content just like this. Until then, check out my website, consultingninja.tech. You can message me directly using a form similar to this, and I will help you with anything you need help with. Have a great day.